Originally constructed in 1996, Las Vegas Motor Speedway held its first major event in September of that year. An IndyCar race won by Richie Hearn. The first NASCAR event, a Craftsman Truck Series race, followed 2 months later. The Xfinity Series paid a visit in 97 before the NASCAR Cup Series arrived in 1998, marking the beginning of the track's long-term success. Changes to the oval in 2006 made it a more competitive venue for stock cars. This major renovation revamped the banking, upping it from a modest 12 degrees to 20. Not only that, but the corners were banked progressively, meaning the further up the racing surface, the steeper the banking. Lap times got quicker, racing got more competitive, with the current stock car track record held by Kurt Busch, just over 196 miles per hour. Tonight, it's race number 3 of the Noble Racing Series. It's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway for race number 3 of the Noble Racing Series. 120 laps with a stage break coming at lap 40. Let's take a look at some race details for tonight. 72-degree ambient temperature, nice and dry out here in the desert, 19% humidity. Cloudy skies, rather breezy at 12 miles per hour. Track temp down to about 83 degrees. Drivers will have 2 sets of tires to work with over the wall here tonight and a full 100% fuel load. Practice just about wrapped up here at the Speedway. Still a few minutes left, though. 2 minutes to be specific. Let's take a look at the details there as far as who is top of the charts. Brian McCann, fastest so far, 29.69. Neil Quick at 29.75. Drew Blaze, 3rd. Mefford, 4th, and Drew Prowl, 5th fast. Very tight times here in this practice session. We'll see if it remains to be the case when we get into qualifying. Some drivers a little concerned about the handling on these race cars, getting down into turn number 1 specifically. 195 mile per hour corner entry speed, and a lot of drivers reporting extremely loose conditions on those early laps. We'll see if that results in absolute pandemonium here in the first lap. We'll see if they get through that turn 1 without any incidents. Might have a few new faces here tonight. I think Drew Blaze, not new to the series by any means, but hasn't made all the races as of yet. Vincent Short coming in. Familiar name for sure. Short running a limited schedule, just kind of working around his actual work schedule. So we'll see him here and there. Watch Matt Sisler, his practice time at 29.98, just outside the top 10 as far as pace goes. Fuel window tonight going to be roughly between 40 and 43 laps. I think realistically 40 to 41 should be kind of more so where we're going to be, but depending on fuel saving, it could go a little further. May see 44 laps, may see 45, 46. I guess it just depends on how well these guys can lift and coast while maintaining a good pace. Sisler locking it up here, gets it into the fence. Again, not going to make a big difference here in the sim world. Don't need to really fix these race cars for practice incidents. This practice does come to a close. We're going to jump right into qualifying here momentarily. Chris Fahey in the stream chat talking about Mike Fahey, her son, says, if you're going to die, make it impressive. I can only echo that. Mike Tucker first to roll. Tucker getting after it right out of the pits. Green flag for the 39 of Michael Tucker. Not a whole lot of lift in that number 39 through 1 and 2. This could be a good lap. Burped it just a bit in the middle of 3 and 4. Still looking pretty good. Real loose out of 4. Gathers it up. It's going to cost him some time. At the stripe, Michael Tucker, his lap time is a 29.94. Certainly respectable. Keaton Burnett back in action, the number 26 out of Campton, Kentucky. Keaton's got a win under his belt in the Noble Racing Series last season in the truck out at Bristol Motor Speedway. In fact, that might be going back even further. That could have been a SCAR Superior Class Auto Racing event. I don't have a stat guide. Just pulling it out of my head here. I know he's got a race under there somewhere. At the stripe, Keaton Burnett, 32.07. Puts him third quick for now. Lap 1 in the books, lap 2 in the books for Vincent Short. Third fast, 30.031. 2 of Drew Blaze. R&R Racewear. Livery on that machine. We'll see if he can back up practice time. He was awfully quick. No pun intended. Screw it. Pun intended. Right now, Brian McCann fast on the board here, 29.74, a full 0.2 quicker than Michael Tucker. But again, the 29.94 lap, certainly impressive. We'll see where he lands by the end of this one. But quick crosses the stripe. He goes P2, 29.78. Very close to McCann. Fahey finishes up here, 30.123, his fastest. He'll be P7 for now. Matt Sisler's first lap put him 10th on the board in his Celsius Kia. Don't let him fool you, folks. It's still a Chevy small block. 30.198 his first lap. That's going to be his fast lap. Sits 11th currently. Shane Haas in the number 23. Shane with the Indiana Hoosiers livery. Shane across the stripe here for his first lap, 30.140, puts him 9th. Eddie Rose first lap, 31.535 in the HBRShops.com Ford Mustang. Down the back straightaway here, looking solid for now. Let's see if he can improve here, get that 88 machine up into the top 10. Second lap for Rose, 30.586. Pretty consistent, but does not improve. He's 18th on the board for now. Last week's winner, Will Hewitt, 30.461 on his first lap, 17th. Real loose out of turn 2. He's trying to get everything he can out of that number 33 Dr. Dabber machine. He's got the Jeff Napier steak sauce on the hood again this week. Oh, Hewitt across the line, hits the wall, but it's after the fact. 29.97, puts him P7. Good lap for Will Hewitt. Joe Tucker, a 30.109. P10 on the first lap. Tucker out of Cumberland Furnace, Tennessee. Meanwhile, Drew Prale jumps into the top 10. 8th quick, 29.99. On sale at your local hardware store. 7th quick for Tucker, though, 29.97. Three drivers have yet to take a time. That's Matt Kopp, Doug Wysocki, Mark Truxell. Everybody else locked in thus far. 23-car field to take the green flag here tonight. So with that, we're going to step aside and get some brakes out of the way before we go green flag racing and to our starting grid after this. Folks, stay with us. We'll be back. And it looks like Millett might have won this. He did by 2/100ths of a second over Brandon. That S4 guy off turn 4 for the final time sees the checkered flag. It waves. It belongs to the 315. Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short...
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, let's take a look And our starting grid for round number 3 of the No Bull Racing Series, on the pole position with a lap time of 29.747 seconds, it is the 3 of Brian McCann. Outside front row, 40 thousandths shy of that top spot, it's the 2 of Neil Quick. Starting in row 2, it's Drew Blaze and Brandon Mefford. Row 3, Mike Tucker and Keaton Burnett. Row 4, it's Joe Tucker and Will Hewitt. Row 5, Drew Prale, Vincent Short. Starting 11th, it's Chris Elliott with Mike Fahey, the number 19 from Lone Star Racing, starting in the 12th position. Starting 13th, Shane Haas in the number 23. Chris Goins will start 14th in his number 41 Popple machine. Jesse Redding, the 21, starts 15th. Matt Sisler in his Kia starts 16th. Alan DeFries, the number 71, starts 17th. Ken Couch starting from the 18th spot. Eric Beadle in the 119 with Beadle Motorsports. He'll roll from 19th. Eddie Rose 20th. Doug Wysocki 21st. Mark Truxell will start 22nd. And Matt Kopp in the number 22 with Charity Motorsports will start 23rd. It's your starting grid here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Feel just about ready to get rolling here for one pace lap before we get to the green flag. Coming up soon. Brian McCann going to lead them down to green with Neil Quick to the outside. Drew Blaze, Brandon Mefford, Mike Tucker will be the top 5. As we expected, these IROC guys are going to come in here with a little bit of an advantage. They've been running this Gen 4 Cup car in their season for about 3/4 of their season to this point. So they've learned a lot of the idiosyncrasies and nuances of these race cars. They should be very difficult to beat here this season. Pace truck pulls off. Wait for the starter. Barney the flagman with the green in hand.
Green flag.
We're racing here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Lap 1 in the books. Brian McCann leads it over Neil Quick's already got 7/10 of a second on the 2. Drew Blaze 3rd, Tucker and Tucker 4th and 5th. Michael and Joe respectively. Voodoo Graphics and Design says, I'm sorry, did someone say they were driving a Kia? Yes. Don't let anybody be fooled. It's still a Chevy block, but yes, it is Matt Sisler in his Kia. Trying to get a shot on the number 93. Apex Tech Racing Kia number 93. There you see it. It's still a Chevy. Don't let him fool you. McCann still out in front here. Again, the maximum distance here, we think, on this full load of fuel should be between 40 to 45 laps. That's really going to be all dependent on fuel save and who's able to stretch it. Now, that is an interesting tidbit because the stage break is at lap 40. So guys that are out front, like Brian McCann, he's out there hustling. He's going to need to save a little bit just to be safe so he doesn't run out, A, prior to the end of the stage, or B, under caution waiting to come around to hit pit lane. So we'll see how that plays out. top two pretty well spread out. Drew Blaze running back in the third spot. LSR Gaming X number 1. Michael and Joe Tucker still running 4th and 5th. Might just be kind of a feeling out period, trying to get a strong feel of the race car and what it's going to do throughout the course of this first run. Again, if it stays green, it would be pretty much a full fuel run to get that done. Check out Matt Sisler again in his Celsius number 93 Kia. He's up 4 positions, started 16th. Now he's knocking on the back door with Chris Gomes. Gomes up the racetrack a bit. Open the door for Sisler. Sisler with not enough of a run to do anything with it. Sisler might have an opportunity here out of turn 4. Gets at least the nose alongside. Sisler takes the spot from the 41 of Chris Gones, moved the 93 up in the 11th position. His next contender is going to be the 26 of Keaton Burnett in the 10th spot. Alan DeFries working around the outside of Jesse Redding in the number 21. Redding, the black and green machine down low in the Dodge. Freeze completes the pass, moves the 71 up to P16. Drew Blaze has taken over the second spot from Neil Quick. Still 2.6 seconds back from the race lead. He's got some work to do. Meanwhile, Chris Gones still working the outside. He's got Mike Fahey, the number 19, down low, trying to steal that position away as well. A little loose for the 19 out of turn 4. Looks like new colors on the number 19 this week. Fahey running a Ford Mustang. Looks like it's going to be Statesman Coffee Company on the side of that Ford Mustang. Fahey, an avid iRacing painter. If you're looking for a really decent wrap, check those guys out at Fahey Race Wraps. And Fahey still fighting for that spot just behind Sisler and Vincent Short. Then you've got the 23 of Shane Haas kind of watching it all unfold. Let's ride on board with the 23 as he watches this battle just ahead of him. Haas has got pressure coming in behind Alan DeFries in number 71 Monster Energy Chevrolet. Meanwhile, it looks like Chris Goins has finally cleared Mike Fahey, but not for long. Fahey with a good run out of 4 might have a long side here into 1. May actually be set up for a decent run out of 2 if he can maintain the momentum. Goins slides up the racetrack a bit. It's going to dump some dirty air on the nose of the number 19. It's going to help slow the advance from Fahey out of turn number 2. Still tucks in behind Chris Goins. Both of these drivers running very consistent and similar lap times. The last time by, there were less than a tenth of a second differential between the two of them. Meanwhile, back out front, Neil Quick has retaken the second spot from Drew Blaze. Again, it's very uncharacteristic to see the one of Drew Blaze really challenging in the top 3 so early on in the race. Usually you see him fall back from wherever he's qualified, take care of the tires throughout the course of the run, and then put the charge on later on when it really makes a difference. Might be what we're seeing here now. I don't know if we had a mistake out of Neil Quick early on that gave up that second spot, but Blaze now back to 3rd. Haas maintaining his position ahead of the 71 of DeFries. Chris Elliott, number 29, in behind him in P16. Jesse Redding. Ken Couch. Ken in the 05, no, the 08. Ken Couch, a Lone Star Racing entry as well. A lot of cross-pollination here amongst all the leagues that HBR TV broadcasts with. Very nice to see that happening. Makes my life a little simpler as far as identifying who's who, but never mind that. We're halfway through stage number 1, 20 laps out of the 40. Brian McCann still your race leader from pole position. Neil Quick from the outside front row still running in that second spot. Drew Blaze, same story, started 3rd, runs 3rd. Michael Tucker's up a spot in 4th. Will Hewitt up 3 spots, running in the top 5. Hewitt having a strong run, and he's going to get the fence here just a bit as soon as we start chatting about him. A little broadcasting curse there. No harm, no foul. I don't think Hewitt even lifted, but he's definitely been to the fence. You can see some of the scraping on the right side of the number 33, and it does open the door for Joe Tucker. Tucker's going to go to the bottom here, try and get a run, but Hewitt was running that Larson line way up top of the racetrack. He built a big run, and it works again here. Just being up a lane and a half higher than Joe Tucker, he's able to carry that speed and momentum out of the corner, down the straightaway, maintain the position. Oh, big wiggle behind. I think that was Drew Prell. Oh, Prowl on the fence. Little loose on exit, puts it in the outside wall. He loses a spot, drops it down to the low side of the racetrack. Don't know if he's going to hit the pit lane here or if he's just going to run this out for another 18 laps. Sisler has completed the pass on Chris Goins from earlier. Sisler now running in the 9th spot. Goins back to 10th. Biggest mover on the racetrack, though, is that number 93 of Matt Sisler. He's throwing all caution to the wind here for this first stage, but you got to keep in mind that when we get to that stage break, the drivers are going to be faced with a decision to make. Do they take the tires or do they wait? Usually it's best to take tires under the yellow flag conditions, so you don't have to worry about using up too much track position. But they've only got 2 sets available over the wall. You make that first pit stop at lap 40, you're going to have to carry it for a while because you've only got 1 more set to work with for the rest of the race. Some guys like to try and save an extra set in case you catch that late caution, kind of use some strategy. You don't quite have the pace to be up battling with the top three. You got to find a way to make it work. The risk that you run, though, is on this first round. If you don't take tires, you're going to be way slower. They've already lost about 1.5 seconds of pace. 25 laps in here, tire fall off causing that. You don't want to take a chance here and lose a lap after your pit stop because you wanted to save a set. So you kind of have to gamble a little bit. We are in Vegas after all, so that's okay. But you don't always win. John Fancher in the stream chat says, one of these drivers is under the influence. I don't know if he's saying that because he knows or if he's just making an observation. Eddie Rose running 23rd currently. Eddie's down 3 spots from qualifying. Oh, the 23, Shane Haas, loose out of 2. I don't know if he got the wall or not. Shane's still running in the 13th position where he took the green flag from tonight. About to lose that here to Jesse Redding. If Redding can mount a charge here and make this pass work. Again, Haas certainly heated up the right rear tire at a minimum there, losing the rear end of the race car off at turn number 2, gathered it up, kept it out of the wall. Still got some heat in him, though, as Ken Couch is going to roll up here, car length and a half back from the 23. Haas has lost a couple of spots since almost losing it. And DeFries is in the fence. Alan DeFries almost in trouble and almost gets jumped by the 29. DeFries gets the outside wall, has to save it, check up, lost some momentum, and Chris Elliott almost ran him over. Couldn't have been any closer. Mark Truxell running back in the 18th spot. He's up 4 positions. I don't believe he took a lap in qualifying. Truxell in the number 5, Little Tate's Cupcakes machine. Gotta tell you, Mark Truxell, one of the cleanest guys out there. Not going to be out there setting track records, but he's always in contention as these things get late, or tends to be. He's got some wins under his belt in this series, whether it's the Noble Racing Series or Superior Class Auto Racing. And he's done it by taking care of his stuff, not getting involved in any incidents. But Alan DeFries up in the fence again. Tires starting to go away on many of these race cars as we get near the end of the stage here. About 8 laps to go. Still out front's the 3 of Brian McCann. A hefty lead on the 2 of Neil Quick. Almost 5 seconds here as we get to lap 33. Brian McCann nice and smooth out in front here. 5 seconds distance between him and second place. McCann just checking out. Again, admittedly, he's still trying to get a handle on this race car. It's not something he spent a lot of time in, and keeping in mind it is relatively new to the iRacing service. But in my experience of Brian McCann, it's got a steering wheel and 4 tires. He can wheel it. he'll figure it out. He certainly has here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway with a pretty sizable lead on the 2 of Neil Quick. Blaze running back in P3. There might be some right front damage on that machine. Indeed, there is. He's gotten into the fence or somebody else. Hard to say specifically. Overall, the right side looks okay, but the right front caved in just a bit. That damage is going to hurt the aero on that car, but it may actually help the right front tire stay a little bit cooler. Get a better angle on it here in just a minute. You can see the right front tire, the outer edge there, slightly visible, which means now it is exposed to the air that's coming to the front of that race car as he travels down the racetrack. So it will help keep that right front a little bit cooler, which in turn may or may not be a detriment to the one here. It's certainly going to cause the car to feel a little bit loose throughout the course of the run as that right front stays cooler. It doesn't get as hot. It doesn't melt. It doesn't wear out as fast. Oh, real loose out of turn 2. That's kind of what we're talking about. Anybody can wheel it through that corner, though. It's Drew Blaze. Blaze with an extensive dirt background. John Fancher says the stands look packed today. Yeah, sellout crowd here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, John. Every seat. It's been that way since the start of the season. McCann just continuing to increase that deficit back to the second spot. Now it's over 6 seconds. Lap 38 goes up on the board. A few more laps before we can call it the stage. Now, mind you, lap 40 being the stage, that is the end of lap 40. So they do need to complete that final lap of the stage to get it back around here. And again, we talked about the fuel window. Between 40 and 45 laps, depending on how aggressive or passive the drivers want to be with fuel conservation. Certainly no challengers, and man, McCann, I don't know what it is. He's just starting to check out here even further. 6.5 seconds. Last lap, a 31.75 to second place. Neil Quick was a 32.10. That is a big, big difference. Okay, it's only 3/10, but that's a big difference. They got the same tires as far as what lap they started on. This is what they took the green flag with. McCann working the back straightaway here on his final lap of this first stage. Brian McCann out of turn number 4. He's going to see the green and white checkered flag. He'll win stage number 1. Probably cut the car off as soon as he gets past the line here. Try and save what he can. Top 10 for the stage is Brian McCann, Neil Quick, Brandon Mefford, Drew Blaze 4th, 5th Will Hewitt, Matt Sisler, Chris Gones, Drew Prowl, Vincent Short, Mike Fahey.
All right, you tell me about your car, bud.
That's your top 10 for stage number 1. Lap 42 goes up on the board as the caution does not come out until the end of the back straightaway for the stage. These guys are going to need to tiptoe a little bit here as McCann does cut the car off and clutch it through turns 1 and 2. Again, we are under caution, but you got to save what you can here. Do not want to run out, especially when they only run at about 75, 80 mile an hour. Got to get back to pit lane, get your tires, top off the tanks. So we'll see what the pit strategies are for this first round of pit stops. Is it going to be fuel only, or is it going to be 4 tires for everybody? Lee Rose stays out on the track, lost a lap in that first cycle. Brian McCann with his pole position. He gets that very last pit stall at the end of pit road. Just pop the clutch and go. And it looks like it's going to be at least right sides for Brian McCann. Drops the jack on the right, goes around to the left. 4 tires and fuel for the 3. Dumps the clutch and out he goes. Looks like that was going to be the call for just about everybody up and down pit road. 4 tires and fuel for just about all of our drivers. It seems that way. So with that, we're going to step aside, get a quick break out of the way before we go back green flag racing. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, wrapping up the first stage caution of the evening, first and only stage caution when they run one stage break. But want to make mention here, I know we talked about it early in the stream chat, we are running 4K broadcast these days. You might need to click the little cog wheel at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen as far as your YouTube quality is concerned to either A, turn on the 4K, or B, turn it down because it might be laggy or stuttering. If that is happening, you either need to increase your internet speed or reduce your quality. But again, just double check to make sure you can enjoy this in full 4K streaming. Definitely looks way better if you can make it work. So, iRacing Pace Truck's got the field in tow here. It's going to take the hard left down pit lane here momentarily. Back green flag racing. It'll be lap 46. So go back to the green.
Green.
Green in the air, a little wiggle on a Brian McCann, even on the fresh tires. That's how much horsepower these cars make. Headed down into turn number 1. You know, the interesting thing is you listen to the engine sounds, at least on the fresh tires. These guys rolling through the corners. They're lifting to slow down for the corner, but they're not coming completely out of the throttle. They're lifting just a little bit, kind of keep that car loaded up as far as the suspension is concerned. Power down to the right rear, because if you lift, it's going to transfer the weight of that race car to the nose. And as soon as you do that, again, it unloads the rear of the car, makes the rear tires not as grippy, so to speak. You don't have as much downforce or weight transfer to the back. So you don't want to lift completely off the throttle. They do it just enough so they can slow down for the corner and then get right back to it. If you lift all the way off the throttle and coast to the corner and then hammer that throttle back down with there's not as much downforce on the rear of the car, you do have a high likelihood of spinning the car around. Ryan McCann checking out once again, 1.47 seconds on the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Drew Prowl battling with Mike Fahey for position out of turn number 2. Fahey up top, the number 19. Prowl in that number 80 Wolf blue and green machine. Side by side for position. Prowl comes up just a bit, door handle to door handle. Fahey with a big run to the outside. Prowl had to check up. Don't know if he lost the rear of the race car. Prowl real close to the outside wall on corner exit. Doesn't get a piece of the wall, but Fahey definitely got the spot. Right on board with Mike Fahey as he trails in behind teammate from Lone Star Racing, Drew Blaze. Drew Blaze and Mike Fahey both closing in on the 93 of Matt Sisler. This would be for the 5th position if Blaze could take it away. Meanwhile, McCann still out with the race lead, 2.5 seconds the advantage on Brandon Mefford. Will Hewitt now has jumped into the 3rd position, quick back to 4th. On board now with Matt Sisler, maintaining the 5th position for now. Drew Blaze takes a look to the outside. Oh, Blaze almost got a piece of the wall. Pulled it hard down to the left and kept it out of the fence. Drew's going to have a good run out of the corner here, it looks like. Not quite enough, though. Sisler maintaining the spot. Still watching this battle here for the 5th position. Matt Sisler has it. It's Drew Blaze and Mike Fahey in behind. Then you've got the 39 39 car of Michael Tucker, Drew Prowl, and then Joe Tucker rounding out the top 10. Blaze going to the outside once again, trying to make that move work. Has the run, but still can't get alongside. He's going to cross over, look for the bottom. Still nothing available there either. Goes back to the top. Sisler's going to match the move, trying to block that run. That's okay to do for now. You start pulling that later on in the race, guys are going to get less patient, more inclined to not lift as Drew Blaze gets into the fence off turn number 2. Pretty significant contact. I don't know what kind of right side damage he's going to have from that. Never lifted, though, as he gets alongside of Matt Sisler. Slides up the racetrack again. You just got to wonder if that right front damage is causing the issue. Doesn't seem like that car wants to turn very well, at least on corner exit. Blaze does take the spot away. It's an interesting situation. We talked about the damage to the right front of Drew Blaze, how it could essentially cause either a tight or a loose condition, either way. Tight for the fact that that right front is pushed in a bit and it's not giving the downforce to the front end of the race car that it was earlier. But loose on the aspect that late in the run, that right front tire is going to be significantly cooler than the rest of the tires, or the right front would have been if it wasn't in the wind. It's basically with that right front exposed. It's almost like having a big tire blower, keeping that right front cool. Drew Blaze is going to have to kind of chase that throughout the course of this run. If anybody can do it, it certainly is the driver of that number 1 machine. Meanwhile, Matt Sisler has lost 2 spots to Drew Blaze and Mike Fahey, and he might be in danger of losing another here to Michael Tucker. And the caution is out. Chris Goins in trouble. Not sure what happened here with Chris Goins, but nonetheless, he's gone around. The 41 Popple Pro machine looks to be okay. Let's see if we can find out what happened here to the 41 of Chris Goins. Put us under our first caution of the night. Oh, Ken Couch comes down at the same time Goins is going up. Goins does a great job to keep it out of the inside wall. Just lucky he doesn't get run over by oncoming traffic. Now, I will say Chris Goins does run in VR. So I want to tell you this real quick here because it does make a difference to how he was able to do this, and it's very important. As a driver in iRacing, you see he does slide up the racetrack here. He can see traffic, but now he really can't. However, you can look at, and we'll freeze it right here, you can look at your relative on your iRacing display and see if there's cars coming. But in his case, he can literally just turn his head to the left, look out the window net, and see if traffic is coming. You see that before he starts to come down. He says, all right, I got time to drop down here, and then you see the field go by, no contact. So some of the advantages of working in VR, I've tried it. I can definitely see how it makes you faster, but I couldn't do it without feeling like I was going to get sick, so I had to ultimately sell my Reverb G2, and ironically, it was Chris Goins that bought it, so certainly worked out pretty good for him. He's been a lot faster since switching over to that. So Goins in the pits. I don't know if he's just taking fuel or fixing a little bit of damage. He's certainly not putting tires on it just yet. Yeah, he does have some nose damage, though. That's interesting. I don't know if that's from coming down the racetrack and hitting the apron. Well, with that, let's take a look at our top 5. It's still Brian McCann, your race leader. Will Hewitt up to second. Neil Quick, Brandon Mefford, Drew Blaze. That's your current top 5 as we work our first caution for cause of the evening. Second to overall. Again, first caution coming out lap 40 for our stage break. But with that, we're going to take a break ourselves. Get that out of the way here. We'll be right back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short... Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, pace truck hits pit lane. We're going back for the restart here.
Green flag.
Lap 65 will go up, and Brian McCann with a beautiful jump. Quick reaction out of Will Hewitt, though. He's got 2 cars to the inside, now just 1 in Neil Quick. He's going to shoot the 33 up the racetrack a bit into the marbles. Keeps his foot down, a little loose out of 2, maintains the 3rd position over Brandon Mefford. Quick up into the 2nd spot, now crossing back to the bottom. Will Hewitt trying to attack to take that 2nd spot back. Talk about big movers on the day. Mark Truxell running in the 8th position. He's up 14 positions. Truxell having a decent day, just taking care of his stuff. Finding himself within the top 10. We talked about it early, how he is so good on equipment. Checking out Matt Sisler running back in P7. Then Joe Tucker back in 15th. Working around Doug Wysocki in the 34. Now Ken Couch. Couch runs 12th, up 6 positions. Couch running just ahead of the 15 of Vincent Short. Short currently 13th on the board. Qualified 10th here today, running back 13th. Few spots lost, but still plenty of racing to go as we're just about 9 laps past halfway. Short now applying pressure on Ken Couch. He gets alongside, still not quite clear. Short real loose out of turn 4. Saves the car, but drops it down to the apron here in the dog leg, and we've got some other guys behind, and we got a crash. 23 is Shane Haas involved in this one.
Bad out there.
A few drivers involved in it. I think Alan DeFries may have been one as well. So 70 laps in, 3rd caution of the day. May have started with Alan DeFries. Let's go back and look at it. Okay, so it looks like Shane Haas may have lost connection for a moment. Let's back this up. We've talked about this so many times. Actually, it looks like DeFries got into the wall anyway. So we'll watch it in real time here from the tower. We'll slow it down when we need to. Oh yeah, DeFries just nails the wall. Comes back, saves it, nails it again, and yeah, through that, now I see the 23 car. He gets nailed by Chris Goins. Back this up further here as we watch Alan DeFries and his issue. There's no 23 car. Now you see it. In the back of the frame, the upper left of the frame, you see the 23 of Shane Haas. We'll go real slow here. It disappears here. Now he's gone. And unfortunately for Alan DeFries, he reappears on top of the 71. Nothing for him to do there at that point. You can't really solve that. It's a losing battle. And then add insult to injury. Beetle and Kopp just pile drive the 71. Now I want to watch this one from Chris Goins' perspective as well, because he had to deal with the 23 landing in front of him. And watch the in-car here again at slow speeds. We're at quarter speed. Now look at the 23 just disappears. DeFries is having his moment here at the same time, and then the 23 just decides to show up in front of Gones. So effectively a 5-car incident here to put us onto the caution for the third time today. I really think it's twofold. I think it's a combination of DeFries getting into the wall and trying to save it here down the front stretch, but also the 23 of Shane Haas losing connection at the most inopportune time. And then all of a sudden it reestablishes itself at a much worse opportune time. So 72 laps in, working caution number 3. Neil Quick, Brian McCann, Brandon Mefford, Mike Fahey, Drew Blaze. That's your current top 5. Going back to the 7th position, those top 7 drivers opting not to pit during this caution. Same can be said for 8th position back to 12th. Will Hewitt in 13th. Ken Couch, Vincent Short, Eddie Rose, everybody else below those guys all opting to make a pit stop during this caution. But it's interesting looking at the data. Top 5 or 6 or 7. Yeah, top 7 drivers made their pit stops at lap 42. But the drivers behind them from 8th to P12, they made a pit stop at lap 61. And then everybody else was this caution. So some varying strategies to keep an eye on throughout the course of the rest of this race. Base truck lights still on. Should get the one to go this time by. Means a restart at lap 75. Give us 46 laps to the finish. Now it's interesting. We're not in a position now, and this might explain why you didn't see a lot of guys come down and pit. So we're not in a position now where you can make it on fuel from this point. Remember, 45 laps we thought was the absolute maximum anybody can go, and that's going to be you saving fuel. So is there a chance? It's possible, I guess, when we go back green, but I just don't see it being the case. Just about everybody's going to need to make one final stop before this one's out. And those that haven't stopped on this caution, certainly knowing that they've got an extra set of tires still over the wall, are going to wait until that final stop to make it to the end. They may short pit the balance of this, not run it out till the tanks are empty, knowing that once they get to the fuel window, all right, I'm losing some pace here. Let's come down pit road, take the tires, get fueled up to make it to the end and get back out there. Belts tight once again. Pace car is going to pull off. Back green flag racing here in just a moment. Make sure nobody spins the tires on this restart.
Green flag.
Quick with a good restart. Brian McCann to the outside. Brandon Mefford running third. McCann with a big run out of turn 2. Drops it to the inside. Making a move for the race lead into turn 3. Quick up the racetrack. Gonna tuck back in behind the 3 of McCann. McCann back to the point. Challenge coming back from Neil Quick. Quick tried to drive it alongside McCann through 1 and 2. We got alongside, but has to tuck back in behind. Now a car length and a half behind the 3. Same story for the 83 of Brandon Mefford. He runs third. This trio, all from the IROC Challenge Series, all top 3. And we talked about that early in the race, how these guys do kind of come in here with a bit of an advantage. They've been running this exact same car in their home league. They're already 3/4 of the way through it. They will have a bit of an advantage because they've just got the experience behind the wheel of this relatively new race car to the iRacing service. Will Hewitt working the outside here in behind Drew Blaze, ahead of Matt Sisler. Hewitt with some pace, jumps up the racetrack here. Blaze seems to block the run. Now Hewitt's going to change lanes, drop it down low. It's one thing I've seen out of Will Hewitt. He is not shy about changing up his strategy as far as what racing line to run. And I mean not just lap to lap, I mean corner to corner. He's gotten it done. He gets the pass made. He passes Blaze. He passes like Fahey. So move Will Hewitt up into the 4th spot. Hewitt always strikes me as a full send kind of guy, so I just have to wonder, is he going to be okay on tires? We'll have to see how that plays out. Now Hewitt up the racetrack here, straddling the seam here. I don't know if that's the best plan, but so far it seems to be working for the 33s. He does run in that 4th spot still. See if he can reel in the top 3. So we got a change for the race lead up ahead. Neil Quick alongside Brian McCann on turn number 4. Still hasn't completed the pass, but might have it at the stripe. Nope, looks like McCann's going to still lead that lap. 41 laps to go here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Neil Quick drops it down to the low side. Clears Brian McCann. May slide it up, or does he? He does. Pulls the slide job, just enough room. And this battle has really opened the door for Will Hewitt to make a charge. 3 wide into turn 3. McCann's going to go, nope, I'm not doing this. I'm going to tuck in behind these 3 guys. I don't want to wreck my race car. Off turn 4, Hewitt with a big-time run, and he goes battling for the race lead. So the 33 of Will Hewitt is one of those drivers that took tires on lap 71, so he's got the pace advantage, at least for the time being. I don't know if he took a set of tires on his first pit stop. So that's going to be the question as to how this race plays out for Will Hewitt. Does he have another set over the wall? If he does, he is in a really good position right now. However, I'm kind of thinking he doesn't. Again, I don't know that to be fact. I don't have the data to display that. I just have the most recent pit stops, and yes, he did take tires on that. Will Hewitt out in front, a full second ahead of Neil Quick, Brandon Mefford, and Brian McCann. Vincent Short now up into the 5th position. On the bottom side, taking a spot from Drew Blaze, or at least attempting to, back at start finish. Sisler's going to have the spot for now, and that's P7 if we're going to be specific. Down into turn number 1, might be clear, and he is. Sisler now up into the 2nd spot. Next on the list for 93 is going to be the 19 of Mike Fahey. Down the backstretch, Sisler with a run. Sisler now, he made his pit stop at lap 42, so he's on older tires, still having a good run. Side-by-side, Sisler and Fahey. Fahey, the number 19, on the top lane. On to turn 2, they'll drag race down the backstretch. A little bit drafting help in behind for Fahey, but it doesn't seem to make too much of a difference as Sisler goes to the bottom of the racetrack, and he's going to take another spot, move him up to the 6th position. Sisler having a real strong run. Again, qualified 16th. one of our biggest movers on the day, but not the biggest mover on the day. Mark Truxell still running in that 11th position. He's gained 11 positions on the racetrack. Truxell, the number 5, Little Tate's Cupcakes machine. Also has Alex Morgan Imaging on the back. Back out front, Will Hewitt. Considerable advantage over Neil Quick. It's just under 4 seconds and growing. Again, you still just have to wonder how much tire is left for Will Hewitt, whether it's on the race car or over pit wall. If he's got an extra set still available, he is in great shape. But if not, he's just going to run until the cows come home. See what happens really here with the 33. He may be in trouble, but he's going to enjoy this race lead while it lasts. Back in the second spot, Neil Quick, just ahead of Brandon Mefford. Mefford just ahead of Brian McCann. Mefford seems to be a tick faster than Quick for now, but not enough room to make the way around. Mefford swaps lanes, goes to the outside. Quick lifts. Neil Quick yielding the second spot to Brandon Mefford, and Brian McCann drops it down to the apron here. I don't know if that's intentional. Looks like it might be. Pit stops underway. They know they can make it from here. Brian McCann, Vincent Short, both locking it down to pit lane here. Let's see if McCann takes that last set of tires. I'm pretty sure he still has the set sitting there. Vincent Short also as well in pit lane. Chris Elliott as well. Vincent Short into the box. Fuel only for Vincent Short. Brian McCann's already got the right sides in the air. 2 tires for the 3. It's going to be 4. So 4 set plus fuel. Brian McCann drops the jack and the clutch, and he's down and away. 15.32 seconds in the box, and multiple drivers hitting pit lane as well here after the fact. You got Brandon Mefford, Neil Quick, Mike Fahey, Drew Prail, Joe Tucker, Mike Tucker, all these guys up and down pit lane for their final stop of the night. Should be plenty good to go on fuel from here on in, and there's no tires left over the wall, so no reason to come back down. So with my point here with the tire situation on Will Hewitt, he has stayed on the racetrack, so that's going to tell me, well, now he's going to make me a liar. Will Hewitt down into pit lane for his final stop of the day. Here's what we're going to find out if the 33 has tires or not. Again, I'm not a card counter by any means, and I don't play Hold'em, but let's see how much of a gambler Will Hewitt is. Did he have a set left? Fuel only for Will Hewitt. No tires left in the pits for the 33. Still waiting on fuel, still waiting on fuel. Oh, he might be waiting on a pit penalty. Will Hewitt might have been too fast entering. Tough break. From the race lead to a pit speeding violation on entry. Tough break for Will Hewitt. Now, meanwhile, Jesse Redding is out in front, your new race leader. Again, his last pit stop coming at lap 61. He may be done as far as tires are concerned as well, but he's going to need to make a stop here for fuel at any moment. .46.32 for Will Hewitt in the pits. Definitely a speeding violation for the 33. Current top 5, Jesse Redding, Doug Wysocki, Ken Couch, Eddie Rose, Vincent Short. And we'll go to P6 here. It's Brian McCann because that's your lead lap drivers. If the caution comes out now, it's going to be great for the guys in the top 6, but nobody else. Jesse Redding down pit lane. Oh, Jesse Redding does have tires. This could be a good strategy call for the 21. I think I would have come down a little bit sooner knowing that I had at least right sides. Redding goes 10.10 seconds in the pits. I don't know if he left a set on the left still over the wall or if he did that early on. See how it pays. Race leaders go on by. Now it's Ken Couch, Doug Wysocki in second. Sorry, Wysocki is actually in the pit lane. With that 24 laps to go here, we're going to go HBR TV side by side. Stay with us. We'll be back for the finish after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back live at Las Vegas Motor Speedway as we watch Chris Goins regain his position within the top 10. He's had a couple of scary moments throughout the course of this race tonight, but he's battled back once again. finds himself running in the 10th spot behind Mike Fahey. Well, out front through the pit cycle, Brian McCann has retaken the top spot. 2.2 seconds back to Brandon Mefford. Eddie Rose still running back in the 3rd position. Rose making his pit stop at lap 71. He's going to need to make one more splash for fuel before this one's said and done. Rose losing the 3rd spot now to Neil Quick. Faster traffic rolling around the high side. Blaze goes around, takes 4th through Prell as well. Looks like Eric Beadle is going to roll around here next. Beadle not on the lead lap. Matt Sisler running in 7th. He'll take P6 away here momentarily. Now 15 laps to go. Eddie, the last car to make a pit stop here to close the race out. Needs one more stop to get enough fuel into that number 88 HBRShops.com Mustang. Not sure what's going on here with Eddie Rose. Getting significantly off pace right now, and he does need to make a pit stop. I don't know if Eddie's got tires over the wall still. In fact, his last pit stop, again, we talked about lap 71. It was a fuel-only stop for Eddie, so he might actually still have a set of tires left. If that's the case, he needs to get down pit road as soon as possible to take those tires if he has them. If not, then okay, I kind of get it. You made your bed, you got to sleep in it, you got to worry about fuel regardless. But if you got a set of tires and you're not utilizing them right now, that's a mistake. Meanwhile, Keaton Burnett saying, I gave it my best shot, force feedback quit as soon as I gridded up, went as long as I could without. So unfortunately, Keaton Burnett out of this one. Looks like he's going to finish here in the 22nd spot. Either way, it's good to have you back, Keaton. Back out front, Brian McCann still with the race lead, 2.6 plus seconds on the 83 of Brandon Mefford. Mefford kind of all by his lonesome as well. He's got a couple of seconds on 3rd place, Neil Quick. And then back and forth is Drew Blaze. Drew Prell running in 5th. Joe Tucker trying to work around Eric Beadle. Beadle with some right front damage, certainly slower than the 13 right now. Ten laps to go from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Brian McCann has been a dominant force out here tonight. Have to assume he's led the most laps on his way here to likely what we expect will be a race win. Can change. Obviously, a caution coming out late. Bunch everybody back up. I don't think anybody else has tires remaining. 9 laps to go, though. Eddie Rose still slow, but is he going to pit? Coming down pit lane this time, I would assume. Nope, Eddie stays on a racetrack. If Eddie's just trying to stretch the fuel all the way to the end or what the plan is, but with 9 laps to go, his last pit stop at lap 71, that is an eternity to go. I mean, that's almost a full 8 laps longer than what's expected if he wants to make this to the end. He should be pitting this time. And there it is. Eddie Rose coming down pit lane, or is he? He is. So last driver to make his pit stop here, Eddie Rose. Just super curious here if he's got tires left. It's a shame if he does. Oh, and he does. So 4 tires and fuel for Eddie Rose. It's just a strategy miscue by the 88. He had that opportunity a while ago. Now he's going to have fresh rubber, which is going to make him faster, but he doesn't really have the advantage of laps remaining to utilize it. Those tires are going to be pretty fresh even as this race comes to a close. Should have come about 10, 12 laps ago. He would have had plenty of fuel, and he would have been quick all the way to the end. 5.5 laps to go, not even. Out of turn number 4 for Brian McCann's. Going to put it 5 laps remaining here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Oh, Keaton Burnett's getting all sentimental in the stream chat. Extremely difficult to drive those loose cars with no feedback. Good to be back. Love you, Steve. Love you too, Keaton. Thanks for being here, buddy. Brian McCann just on cruise control. Seems like that's been his MO all day. 3.6 seconds the deficit back to Brandon Mefford. No challengers for him. Neil Quick running third. Drew Blaze has closed the gap a little bit. A few car lengths, maybe 2 between Quick and Blaze. We'll watch this battle here and see if he can reel in Neil Quick. Take that IROC 1, 2, 3 away. Laps to go for Brian McCann, but we continue to watch this fight for the 3rd position between Neil Quick and Drew Blaze. Blaze real loose out of turn 2, but he's not lifting. Inches off the back bumper and Neil Quick. 2.5 laps to go. We'll see if Quick can hold him off. Quick up the racetrack. Drew Blaze takes the advantage to the inside, gets alongside, but little loose on exit. He's going to duck back in. Oh, might be some contact, and he gets into him. Trouble off turn number 4 as the white flag comes out. Drew Blaze and Neil Quick making contact out of 4. Last lap, though, so no caution. Off turn number 2, Brian McCann at half a lap from victory. Doesn't need to worry about anything happening behind him, but Blaze takes the 3rd spot. I don't know if Quick lost the car and Blaze never lifted or what the situation is. We'll have to go back and look at that one later. But at the stripe, checkered flag in the air, Brian McCann wins race number 3 in the No Bull Racing Series. Brandon Mefford will take 2nd. And Drew Blaze, at least for the time being, will come home in the 3rd spot. We'll go back and look at it here. Again, out of turn 4, it's already into it. Let's back it up a little bit further, try to get a better look at this. Again, remember the right front damage on Drew Blaze's machine. He was probably in better shape being behind Neil Quick, but getting tucked in like that, it loosens up Quick a bit. Or does it? From this perspective, it doesn't look like loose. It looks like the tires are off the ground, but back it up again here. I want to get just another look at it. Watch on board with Drew Blaze. Was a little wiggle for Quick. Last lap, last corner. No, second to last lap, last corner. Oh, there's going to be some discussions about this one. Meanwhile, Brian McCann on the front stretch here celebrating. Once again, Kevin Harvick-esque burning it down session. Brian McCann, your race winner. And the motor expires at the end. With that, folks, we're going to step aside, get a short break out of the way, be back with our top 3 finishers after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, race number 3 of the No Bull Racing Series is in the books. Brian McCann takes the top honor. Let's see if we can pull the driver of the number 3 into the broadcast booth and get a word with our race winner. Brian McCann, it's Steve in the booth. You got me?
Hey, I do. How's it going?
It's going good, Brian. Dominating performance here tonight. Started on pole, led all the way to the stage break. Maybe a couple of laps weren't led by you, but just about every one of them were. A dominant performance. Congratulations on the race win, man. What is the secret to this place in this Gen 4 Cup car?
I guess those new tires. I just took off at the start and just made a huge gap, but that one caution came out, and I think Neil and Brandon got around me, and that's all I could do, and it was looking a little bit rough for me if another caution came out at the end there, but luckily it didn't come out, and I was able to get across the line.
Well, it certainly paid off, and even you were stretching it out there at the end as well, so a job well done. You made it look easy out there. I know there's really nothing easy about this Gen 4 Cup car, but man, you really did look good out there.
Thank you. Yeah, just trying to keep the balance on the tires. I guess that was the hardest part, because the start of the race, you had to drive it one way. End of the race, you had to drive it a little bit different because the track started to get loose at the end, which was odd. Usually it'll get tight at the end, but either way, it was really fun to drive, and a lot of good racing there between me and Neil and Brandon. Neil hit me a few times, but I let him slide.
Well, with that and changing track conditions being the topic of conversation next week, it's the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. How do you feel about your shot there next week?
Oh, I love that track. It's the toughest track in this car that I've ever been on, so it'll be interesting. It's from what I remember, right rear limited, so you're really gonna have to work the throttle.
Well, short tire supply and an abrasive racing surface at Atlanta Motor Speedway should be a fun one to watch. Brian, again, congratulations on the race win here tonight. Who do you want to thank before we let you get going?
Yeah, my wife and family, you for doing the broadcast, league admins for putting this show on, our sponsors, and the drivers for showing out tonight and making a good race. Just thank you.
Brian McCann, your race winner here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're going to pull the 83 of Brandon Mefford up next. Get a word with our runner-up. Brandon Mefford, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Brandon, congratulations, man. A runner-up finish to Brian McCann. He was absolutely lights out tonight, so not sure if it was really going to be a battle, but was there something that maybe you learned throughout the course of this run? If we had to run this race again tomorrow, could you still beat Brian McCann, or was it going to be another second-place finish?
I think we were racing for second. When he got out there on new tires, he just took off. I don't know what he was doing different than us, but his car was really good. He got out to 4.5 second lead there, and he just maintained it. Once we got a caution, it seemed like the tires evened out, and for whatever reason, Neil and I was able to run with him there that second stint there on the second set of tires. So had a fun car racing with those guys, but we were definitely running for second.
Well, next week it very well could be a repeat of this week. We talked to Brian McCann and, quote, I love Atlanta Motor Speedway in this car. So next week it's on the old Atlanta. Tire is going to be an issue, I'm sure. What are your thoughts going into Atlanta Motor Speedway, the old Atlanta, next week?
Well, if this week was any indication, the tires were wearing out quick tonight. 40 laps, they were in the 60s. So we're going to have to save them. That right rear is going to be key, and I'm going to say Brian's going to be the one to beat again. So hopefully we're racing for a win and not second place next week.
Well, it's been nice to see you. IROC guys have come over here, certainly with a little bit of a leg up on most of the field as you've been running this car in your home league here for, well, at least a few months now at this point. So how has running over on IROC helped you over here in Noble, aside from the fact that it's the same car?
Oh, it's helped a lot. I mean, similar formats, but also just getting to understand the car and what it's doing, and visiting these tracks for a second time most times. So that's it's been huge for us. So not taking anything away from any of the guys over here at Noble, because there's some great drivers in here. But as we get towards the end of the season, I'm sure we'll probably get backwards to those guys a little bit.
Experience makes a big difference. We'll look forward to seeing how that changes throughout the course of the season. Brandon, again, congratulations on a runner-up finish here at Vegas. Who do you want to shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody over at Noble that puts on this show, all the drivers for putting on a great race, great group of guys to run around with here on Sundays. So makes my Sunday evenings worth running. So thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Thanks for my charity motorsports teammates, my wife, my kids, my family, everybody that helps allow me to do this. And then shout out to all the fans out there liking this race and watching it.
All right, Brandon. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week out of Atlanta.
See you, Steve.
Brandon Mefford, your runner-up here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And now we'll talk to the driver of the LSR Gaming X #1 Ford Mustang, Drew Blaze, our third-place finisher. Let's get it from his perspective. What exactly had happened there on the closing laps? Drew, it's Steve with HBR TV. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Drew, congratulations, man. A third-place finish. We were watching the battle between yourself and Neil Quick in the closing laps. It looked like Neil got loose in turn 4 with maybe a couple to go here, maybe coming to the white. You guys certainly made some contact. What was it from your perspective? What did you see? Was there anything you could have done to avoid contact there?
Yeah, I mean, he was, he got loose, and I mean, I tried to get out of it, but unfortunately it was too late. I didn't know it had killed his momentum that much. It didn't look like he was, real loose. So I just, kind of tried to keep my momentum up, and I got out of the throttle, and I guess between me taking air off of his spoiler and then we made contact, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else I could have done differently besides just, try to brake hard and, avoid contact. But I mean, let's face it, we're coming to the white flag, racing hard. It's, you're in that mindset. It's kind of hard to get out of it. And, I don't know. I didn't mean to do it. I would never race anybody like that. I don't race like that. Anybody who knows me knows I will not do that. I'm perfectly content finishing, top 5 or wherever. But, I don't know what else to say.
Well, certainly there may be some conversations about it after the fact, but it is what it is. You're driving a race car at 180 plus miles an hour, inches apart. Mistakes are going to happen. It is what it is. Again, especially as you said, coming to the white flag, you never know. You've got to basically have a whole thought process and a conversation with yourself in a split second to make a decision. So sometimes it is what it is. You bring home the 3rd position. I'm sure Neil's not happy with his 12th, but it is what it is. Again, we move on next week. Another race coming up at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Another place that's going to chew up tires. It's going to be a challenge. And I know those places that require good tire strategy is usually a place we see guys like Drew Blaze perform well. How do you feel about your chances out at the old Atlanta next week?
I love that track. You can run the low side, middle, and there's definitely a top side there. So, it's going to be a good race. Be interesting. I think it's definitely going to come down to tires and strategy. And we would have had a little bit different strategy here today. Was want to do some things different, but ultimately just panned out, and we got 3rd place. And we're going to take the momentum and go into next week, especially since this is. When I came into the series last week, I'd never drove these cars before, so we're still learning. We got a lot to learn, and I'm sure we'll get better and better as the season goes on.
We heard Brandon Mefford kind of make a comment kind of similar to that. Is they're coming in here with a lot of experience. They've been running this Gen 4 Cup car in the IROC Challenge Series all season long. They're about 3/4 of the way through it, and we're just 3 races into it here at Knoll Bull. So I'd be expecting to see a lot of these guys kind of figure it out as the season continues on, and those challenges are going to be a lot closer as the season continues on. Drew, again, congratulations on a 3rd place finish here tonight. Who do you want to thank before we let you get going?
Yeah, I got to thank Lone Star Racing, Garza Law Firm, Mike Fahey, Justin Johnson. Thank you for putting on the broadcast. Just shout out to all my teammates, Keaton, Ken, Kenneth, everybody who supports us day in and day out. We wouldn't be here without those guys. And thank Chris and everybody for putting on this great series. It's been a lot of fun.
All right, Drew, man, thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week out of Atlanta.
Appreciate it.
Drew Blaze, your 3rd place finisher here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That's going to conclude our interview portion of tonight's broadcast. Let's take a look at the official race results. Well, maybe it's official. We're calling it that for now. Brian McCann, of course, your race winner. 2nd place was Brandon Mefford. 3rd was Drew Blaze. Matt Sisler coming through with a solid 4th place finish. He's going to be our hard charger for the night. Tied for numbers of cars passed on the racetrack this evening with Mark Truxell, but the higher finishing position would give Matt Sisler that hard charger award. Chris Gones, talk about not giving up. A 5th place finish for Gones. Drew Prowl was 6th. Joe Tucker was 7th. Mike Fahey brought it home in the 8th spot. Vincent Short, his first race of the season here, running in the 9th spot. Mark Truxell, another solid run with a top 10 in 10th. Jesse Redding was 11th. Neil Quick, after his incident with Drew Blaze, finishes in the 12th spot. 13th was Doug Wysocki. 14th, Ken Couch. Eric Beadle, 15th. Michael Tucker was 16th. Will Hewitt comes home in the 17th spot after a pit road speeding violation got him all wadded up. Chris Elliott finished out in the 18th position. 19th finisher was Eddie Rose, 2 laps down. Again, strategy, I think, really bit Eddie Rose here. Shane Haas was 20th. Matt Kopp, 21st. Keaton Burnett, after some hardware issues, finishes 22nd. And Alan DeFries, last, not least, in 23rd, 52 laps down. Thank you guys all for tuning in here tonight. Congratulations on Brian McCann for a dominating win here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. If you guys haven't already done so, please like the stream, like the broadcast, share, follow, subscribe, all that jazz. YouTube.com/@HBRTV and the number 1. Also, please check us out on the website, HBRTV and the number 1.com. You can click the live tab anytime you're on that website. It'll take you to the most recent upcoming live broadcast for HBR TV. Again, so long as I don't drop the ball and forget to post it. And if I do, you can still click the old broadcast link and it'll take you to the page on YouTube and you can, well, navigate your way to the right race. Either way, we do appreciate the traffic in both places. Hitting the like button is the best thing you can do for the stream. It helps us, it helps the broadcast, it helps the league, and it's free to do. There's no losing here, folks. Just click that like button if you're here watching it. It's the smallest thing I can ask from you, and I do appreciate it. With that said, again, congratulations to Brian McCann on the race win here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Make sure you guys tune in next week out at Atlanta Motor Speedway for race number 4 of the No Bull Racing Series. We'll see you guys there next week. Thanks for watching.